Welcome to the Ref Room, hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans. Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. With your hosts, Scott Smokin, Silz, and Brad Baumruck.
Live.
The Ref Room starts right now.
And now your host.
Oh yeah, it is Monday. Welcome to the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz, joined by our local referee-in-chief, Mr. Brad Baumruck, who has just finished his first season. I can't believe it's already over.
And I lived.
I mean, it seems like we just started, and I watched the Red game yesterday. I watched it on YouTube, and, you know, the celebration, and, like, my heart just dropped, like, oh, the season's over. Like, it's done. Like, unbelievable. You know, it just feels like we just started. And so, you know, we got to ramp it up again here. Anyway, so Brad joins us. And, you know, of course, Brad got on today, and he had a bright green shirt on. I thought he had his new Trier or his York clothing on. And so he decided he'd tear his contact lens and go put something else on so I wouldn't work him over on that. But, you know, congratulations. I mean, big day yesterday. We had 3 games. We had the girls' high school game with Barrington and Loyola. Barrington came out a winner on that one. Nicely done. The combined, which was a great game, that went to overtime. And basically,
real quick, Scott.
Yeah.
You skimmed right over it. I just want to make one point out to that women's varsity game that happened. The first goal, if people didn't see it, or, you know, I'm sure it's probably making its way somewhere onto somebody's Facebook feed, and we'll see it eventually. The first goal was an absolute snipe in that game. I mean, the goalie had zero chance, if even that much, in stopping the puck. It was really something fantastic.
Let me guess who might have shot that. Is it the girl from Mission?
Yes.
Yeah. One of the sisters.
I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's so good, man. I mean, she is one incredible player, and probably a future Olympian would be my guess. She's got a shot of making that team, I would think, at some point. Is she U18 now or 17? I'm not sure if she's first years, but, you know, she's really good.
Clue.
That's all I can say. She's amazing. And, yes, she can rip the biscuit. So,
it was an absolute snipe. I mean, it was really something. To have that be the first goal, I was like, I don't know if we're going to see anything better than that. That was up there. So
definitely raised
it was a lot
the
of
bar.
fun to see.
Yeah. But then we had the combined game, which is Chicago Central, which is essentially Lane Tech. I mean, a big portion of Lane Tech versus Prep. Which
Chicago North.
Oh, is that Chicago North? Are they North or are they the Central team?
North.
Okay. I get them confused because Latin or the Romans is Chicago Central then. So
South.
This Chicago. No, South is somebody
Chicago
else.
South.
Well, there's 3 divisions. There's
I'm not
somebody
sure
that's
who's in
got
the Central.
De La Salle and
We were talking about it yesterday, and nobody could come up with a clear, concise answer for it, unfortunately. But, you know, Prep and Chicago North have been going at it all year.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
No, there's 3 divisions
I don't know.
in Chicago. I'm
Well,
pretty sure it's De La Salle.
But I don't know the
forget who
teams.
else that's in there for the South. But you know, I thought for sure. Well, all right. Either way, I'm just going to call them Lane Tech
fell down
because
behind me. Can I help?
Mom said you're not showing on mine.
What?
Like on
What?
on 9.
What did she say?
Like you're not showing on 9.
yeah,
I'm not showing on
Yeah,
mine?
like the left room.
Oh.
Did you guys start it yet?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on.
it's
live
on now.
right now. Go.
we're 7 minutes
And
into
by the
it.
way, find out what your dog took off with. Wow. Anyway, he
Yeah,
ran in here.
we
and
do this
tripped.
live, everybody. So, you know, interruptions
Tripped-
happen. You know,
tripped-
should have put him on the
tripped
show.
right
and
on his
interviewed him.
face.
Like, you know, he's a future hockey superstar. You should have mic'd him up.
All right. Well, you know, the interesting part with that we were, you know, with that combined game, you know, Prep and Chicago North have been duking it out all year in league play.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those are
two every
two
time
tough teams, which meant it was going to be a great game. Like, I didn't know Chicago North was going to get there initially, but they did, and what a great matchup that is. And both those teams can go at it. I mean, that is just a good physical beatdown game. They're big, strong guys, and they play hard, and it's just good hockey, man. That's old time hockey when they play. So, so happy for them. I know the goalie for Chicago North is also a referee, Diego.
Yes,
so I got to give him a shout out and say hello because he's one of the good guys out there. He's always been nice to us, even when he had just started refereeing. He's always been a nice guy. If you were working his games, he always was pleasant. He handed you the puck. He couldn't have been a nicer guy. Okay. So,
I agree.
I'm sorry you didn't get the championship, Diego. I feel terrible because, I was rooting for you. Okay. But my brackets are perfect. I didn't want to toot my horn yet, but my brackets were perfect. I called all
Somebody
the victories.
stole my bracket. I had my notes, but somebody took off with it.
Ross,
no,
if you're watching, Ross, you might want to consult with us next year because my brackets were perfect. Okay, so yes, in fact, Prep did win that game yesterday in overtime.
They did. It was a really good game.
Yeah. So, and then of course we had the red division with York and New Trier. And, there's a lot of buildup for that one. Knew that was going to be a good game and exciting. You think you guys just kind of show up at the rink and, you go to the United Center and you're going to sit back and relax and everything's going to be great. And, there's going to be no controversy. But you, in fact, had to go make a decision, I understand, yesterday. And you want to talk about that? Because can you believe that the teams couldn't agree on the uniforms, basically?
Yeah, they were concerned about it clashing.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I really like those York jerseys are awesome. I got to give it to them, okay? With the Monopoly, the Duke on there. That's
the Duke. I didn't know what it was until somebody. He's like, he's a Duke. I'm like, oh, yep. I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
but I got it now. So sorry.
Yeah, if you don't know what the Duke is, it's like the Monopoly guy. Okay, the Monopoly man.
Correct.
That's basically what the Duke is. So those jerseys look really good. But who'd have thought that you'd end up with two teams with green basically for for the championship game? I mean. Everybody's got three uniforms nowadays, and so what'd you have? You had New Trier still with green socks on, which had to be a little confusing.
Green socks, green shells, green gloves, green helmets, but then a white jersey with green numbers.
Right.
But then York had the gray, which is like it's not a super light gray, but it's not super dark either.
Right.
But on their shoulders,
looks like a good
they
gym
have black.
T-shirt, okay, like a cool gray. That's what I would call it, like a good-looking gray.
Well, they have black on their shoulders, right, on both sides, and they have black lines in their arms, and then they have black trim on the bottom, and they're wearing black shells, black helmets, and black gloves. So I've actually refereed them to where York has worn the green, and New Trier's wore that white with the green on the bottom half. And I remember the linesman, it might have been last year, or it could have been the beginning of this year, I don't remember, so don't quote me on it. But I know the lines struggled with it the entire game. They were like, I think that was the right guy that was on. Yeah. And we had them hit the whistle a couple times because they saw a green sock, like stuff like that. So it was very weird, but they did ask for me to come over there, so I did actually take the jersey with me. We compared them side to side, and we're gonna play with these today, guys. I mean, we got to make a ruling.
Executive decision,
it's an hour
right
before
there.
Game time.
Your referee in chief earning his check.
And I'll tell you this: like I do know it was a bit to see on the television, but I can tell you in person, it was absolutely the contrast that made the most sense at that time.
Yeah,
and they were definitely contrasting. You could tell the difference.
Well, it was a great game. I mean, both coaches are class acts. You got Adam from New Trier, you got Matt from York, both good people.
Yep.
I think Adam, his son plays on the team, he had a kid I think that's graduated, and he's got one that's still playing. So what a cool experience to win the state tournament with your son on the team. Matt, wow, York did just a phenomenal job this year. They win the JV championship. they take New Trier right to the wire in that game for the varsity championship for the Red. I mean, that's awesome. You've got a few good years of hockey ahead of you, obviously, that you guys will be competitive. So good for them. I mean, New Trier's deep. They've got 5 teams or whatever it is, some ridiculous number that they're just stacked up. So
and you know what? Their other teams are good too.
Yeah.
New Trier wise. So, I mean, both of them are going to be good for quite some time. And, Stevenson's really good and Loyola's really good. And like the top, I would say the top, 10 teams in the state really are, hey, they're just inches separated, if that makes sense,
solid
throughout the entire season. So,
and we had two of the people that have actually been on our show. Well, Matt's been on the show before, and he's actually I think he's scheduled to come back next week. So we're going to talk about the whole experience if he's still speaking to me, because I didn't pick him in the bracket to win that one. So sorry about that, Matt, but I did have you for the JV championship. But besides that, we had two of our people that have been on the show. We had Samantha Hiller, who works in the AHL as one of the referees, and Scott Gaffney, one of the board members that works some of the minor pro hockey, and they reffed the game yesterday along with a guy that was a former Chicago Blackhawk, Steve Probst, I believe. Was he the hockey director of the Chicago Hawks, if I'm not mistaken?
He still is.
He still is, yeah. So he refed, and then Johnny Campbell, who I actually played hockey with over the course of time here, and he's a Chicago cop. They were the linesmen, so kudos to all of them. They did a great job, as well as everybody else that worked all day long. So pretty exciting. I'm sure it's pretty nerve-wracking to go work in front of that crowd with all the pressure of everybody, expecting, just unbelievable officiating, and I think they delivered. So good for them, and excited for them to have been chosen.
I'd like to point out, I said the officiating was going to be excellent. All right, let's just point it
that
out
was
right
your
there. So
that was your bracket
won.
victory, right?
My bracket won.
Yeah, well, the referees always win. Third team out there, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
So a few things we want to talk about. First of all, before we even continue, I want to congratulate AHI, because I saw John Dunn and Mr. Weinberg working really hard yesterday. You could see them on the TV, and all dressed up, looking the part. They did a great job. So it was a great state tournament from start to finish for all the tiers. So, what a wonderful, exciting thing to be a part of. That's all I can say.
It takes an army to put that event on. So just so everybody knows, it looks easy. It looks great, hopefully on the TV, but there's a lot of people in the background, helping out with stuff, and, getting the referees in the building and getting them to where they need to get to and walking them out. And, it turns out to be a long day, and it was definitely worth it. I had a great time. I was happy to be there. And last game was over, and it was like, wow, we got through it.
It's special, that's for sure.
We finally we did it. So it was another season completed.
And then the letdown, because it's over.
Relax.
It's over. Like, now we got to start talking about taking tests and getting ready for next season and all that good stuff.
Hey, seminar season opens. The countdown is already on IHOA.com if you want to go take a look. So it's been on there for months. So if you're looking for something to worry about, the clock is running. You can go take a look at it.
Or you can take a break and play a little golf.
I think you should play some golf, personally. That's what I feel.
Get some sun. We're all pale as ghosts from being inside.
I'm telling you, Scott, it's so beautiful out here where I'm at. You're saying it's cold. It's not cold over here.
It's
I'm
50,
going outside
but
right
the
after
wind
this.
feels like it's about 25 degrees out. Okay, I'm just it's windy up here. I'm north. You're south. You're close to St. Louis. I'm not. So.
Okay, you're right.
A lot closer than I am.
It is a little different, but
yeah. Anyway.
All right.
But, we're on the right side of things, because today is actually, I think, like just now at like 5 o'clock or something, we hit the official spring. So, spring has sprung, and we are done.
Well, we just I'm ready. I'm gonna use my smoker and hang out. So,
we get
with that.
No,
Yeah.
we got some other stuff we're going to cover today, and I just wanted to let everybody know so that while they're watching the show, what you're going to see today or what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about some situations, which is something we've been wanting to do for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
But we've just been so busy and inundated with guests and conversation. I mean, last week we were on for like an hour and a half, which we won't be today.
No.
And then the other thing, I think you're going to cover the district seminars for officiating. So I'm gonna segue that to you right now.
Yeah, not the district seminar. That information's still they haven't we didn't do one of those this year, and I'm assuming we'll be talking about that very shortly as all the seminar information is going to be coming out to us. But I'm talking about the district officiating experience. And if people don't know what that is, what it is it's a camp that the district runs. So Illinois, Iowa, Kansas City, Wisconsin, and Missouri, and then the rest of that mid-am in there with Iowa. I just always say Iowa because they're the biggest. But, Jordan Crowley and Andy Hudson help put the camp together. But then Stefan Renault from Kansas City and Billy Hancock is making his return, even though he's moved from us in Chicago. He's coming back to still help
Legendary
out.
Billy
He's
Hancock.
very happy to help us. Yeah.
Nice.
So they are going to be running this, and what it is there's a development camp June 11th through the 13th, and then there's an exposure camp which is the 13th through the 16th. So if you're an official that's over 17 and has a decent skating ability, or you feel you do, you can put in for this. All the information's on the district website, but the development camp is for people that maybe don't have any aspiration of going anywhere. So in other words, what does that mean? They want to be the best they can be.
You can be me.
Well, you know what? But that's the idea of the camp. The camp is to come out and have you learn in a very compact time limit and work some games, get some feedback from the instructors, work on your game, and then the idea is take that back to your local affiliate and spread the word, spread that training. Referees, like you said 100 times, Scott, we like to learn from other referees, and we like to teach other referees. And this is an absolute wonderful example of it. And to be honest with you, when I was younger, I wish this would have been here. It wasn't. So I am a big, big proponent of, saying, if you want to do this, go ahead and go out. Now, the development camp, too, is they're not going to run you into the ground. They're not going to physically test you to death. Like, there's going to be a little exercise in there, okay? So if you're not up for that, don't go. And you're going to have a lot of classroom, and they're going to pound a lot of information into your head. So it's a great experience, and, for some of the guys that are older, then they don't have to take off that whole week like some of the national camps are. They only have to take off a couple days of work. So that's why they've shrunk it down. Now, the exposure camp. The exposure camp is for officials that are 17 to 28. I know that they have made a couple exceptions on the higher age, but the 17 is a hard lock because of where it's held, because it's held at Iowa State. So they have different rules on who can stay at the dorms and stuff like that. So, but what that one is somebody that's very interested in developing into AAA hockey or junior hockey, or international hockey, or getting into the development program, or stuff like that. So that is actually there for you to get your butt kicked a little bit before you actually go to Futures Camp or high performance camp. Which you go to Futures Camp, then you go to high performance camp, just so everybody knows. So it's 4 intense days, and let me tell you, they give great feedback. You get a thumb drive at the end of it, or maybe they do data dumps now. I don't know. But the guys are absolutely hilarious when they do your evaluation. They insert their personalities into it, and it's definitely worth looking at. And they have great tips and tidbits, and they do point out some things that you do really, really well, too, so that you can teach those back at home. So I would suggest either camp if you're interested. If you don't know which one to go to, get in contact with one of these 4 guys. They'll get in contact with somebody in your area, and they'll be able to get you around to where you should be. I'm big supporter. Can't say enough good things. We've had a lot of Illinois officials go to it, so I would definitely suggest it for anybody that's interested. The only thing is, it's only open to Central District officials.
All right.
Because we put it on ourselves.
Yep. But if you live in another part of the country, chances are your district offers something similar or the identical. You just have to go to the correct district that you're going to be in. Correct?
That's not always correct.
That's not always.
But there are other places that do similar camps and stuff like that, but not to this level, I don't think.
Okay.
So
cool. And Mark Bialco checks in, and Mark says we are live. So that's what we thought.
Yeah, that was when my kid came
Mark.
in here and then fell down.
One of our good buddies, Brian Smolacek. Hey boys, happy Monday to you. Karen checking in. What's up, Karen? She said the security guy next to me was impressed that there were female officials on all games. He liked the one in the last game because of her tiny ponytail. Well, that would be Samantha Hiller, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Samantha's a great referee, and boy, she could skate the game, too. And Landon says, hey, Scott, glad you enjoyed yourself on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I was home. I was watching it on YouTube, streaming it over to the big screen. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Hey, Landon was there running the penalty boxes for us.
Oh, did he?
So,
did he? Well, he did that at Mount Prospect for us for state a couple weeks ago and did a great job. He's a up-and-coming official, and he plays high school hockey for, I think, Lake Forest or whatever, and, good for him. He's serious about it, so he's definitely getting dialed in, which we like to see.
The whole family is. I'll point that out. The whole family, it's a family effort.
Okay, very cool. All right, so now that we've covered the camps, let's talk about some situations. There were a couple of good posts on Facebook over the last couple weeks, and I'm going to start with one. And this one, not even special, but I'm going to start with this one because I was watching the Hawks game the other night, and it was interesting because the opposing team's goalie lost his skate blade. And all of a sudden, he couldn't get up or push off. And the Hawks scored. Mm-hmm. No whistle. Not supposed to be a whistle. And, a lot of people think, like, your skate blade comes off and you're pretty much stranded out there. We're supposed to shut down play. Even if it's the goalie. No. You got to wait till there's a whistle. You're going to have to suffer through it. So, I thought that was a good one to start with.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, it happens a lot nowadays because the blades break.
There is an exception to that, though, to whereas, like, let's say the blade breaks and there's some sort of dangerous, part to it. Because I have seen where they've broken in the holder in half, and then the one half is, like, jetted out, sideways like this.
Yeah.
And, you can see that thing out. You got to stop play on that. But technically... I've been a part of games where players have lost it, and I was working with 3 guys that it was like a spring league, something or other, right? And a tournament. And there's 3 of us out there, and we've all refereed like NCAA and college and pro and whatnot, or NCAA and college and juniors, excuse me. And this guy lost his blade down in the corner, and it's a 4 official, and the one referee grabbed him behind play, skated with him up to the one linesman, who then skated him across the ice, met the other linesman halfway at center ice while play's going on in the other end of the zone.
Nice.
He grabbed him, and then they got him to the bench, and then another guy jumped out onto the ice. So it was definitely, well, we weren't going to let the poor guy suffer. We want to give the team a good chance. We didn't want to interrupt the play because the game was going, and unfortunately he lost that blade. It's hey, got to get you to the bench somehow. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like a guy without a crutch
I did
needs
see that.
one.
People were going nuts.
Like, I got nowhere to go. I can't row the boat. So that's one situation. So I actually had one at the state tournament I've never had in my 11-year career, and that was the temporary goalie. I had a team that only had one goalie, and he took a hard shot up in the collarbone area midway late through the second period, and he was stunned pretty bad from it, and he decided he would continue to play, but when they got to the changeover from the second to the third period, he wasn't coming back. And I've not had that before, but they didn't have a goalie, so tough spot to be in. Fortunately, they were down by 5 goals at this point, so we were going to have a running clock going into the third period, which I was happy about from the standpoint of, this will move a little bit quicker than it might have.
Shelled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't have a guy getting shelled. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we had to look at the options, and the options, for those of you that don't know, you can go with 6 skaters, and nobody has goaltending privileges, which means if you freeze that puck in the crease, that's a penalty shot. So if you freeze it.
No. There's no goalkeeper in the net.
If you cover the puck,
if you cover the puck and you've pulled your goalie in the crease, it's a goal. If there's no goalkeeper in the net.
Oh, okay. Right, because you can't have a penalty. Right. You're right. Okay. Yeah, because you're not going to have a penalty shot if there's no goal.
You got ahead of yourself.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
And you're talking USA hockey, by the way, just so you know.
Yes, we are talking USA hockey, of course.
That does differ in different rule books. So we're not going to get into that, but just pointing that out.
But so you either have the choice, if you're going to go with the 6 skaters, he's basically an extra person on the ice, whether he's offensive or defensive. And that's what they chose to go with. But then about halfway through the third period, they decided they were going to put a temporary goalie in.
All right.
And so here's where it gets interesting. So, the goalie, a player can come in and he gets the goalie gloves and the stick, and he can have a chest protector.
The blocker,
the catcher, the catch glove, the stick,
the trapper.
And he can have the chest pad too if he wants it. But I got to tell you, the coach was thinking, oh man, we're really going to do this. And all I could say is about 6 or 7 of those guys on that bench were like, yeah, I'm not even going to say the expletive because it was the real deal, but they were so pumped and so jacked wanting to do it like they all wanted to go play goalie. Like honestly,
funny.
I thought they were handing out free food. It's like, yeah, I want that. But they were jacked. They wanted to go play goalie. So they almost had to argue with who was going to go in and be the temporary goalkeeper in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure enough, he gets in there and some guy fires a clapper up high. He just reaches up and snags it like a first baseman. And the place went crazy. Like everybody went crazy.
Yeah. I would love to have seen that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, that was exciting, and I got to say, kudos to all the players that just wanted to keep going and jump out there and take one for the team at that point because they all wanted to take one for the team. I think we could have had 6 temporary goalkeepers at that point.
The one thing that points out to me, and I'll just point this out to whatever organization or whoever was coaching that game. Even though they were losing by that 5 goals, right, Scott, or whatever it was at that point, if they're all saying, yeah, let's do it, and they're all like fighting over it, they were still having fun. And you know what? If you can't look at something like that where you're getting just your head handed to you, unfortunately, these things do happen in sports. But yet you have, all these guys willing to try it, and then he catches it, and the place goes wild. That means the fans were having fun, the kids were having fun. Yeah. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you're not having fun in hockey, there's something wrong with you. I have so much fun, and I wish I could have been there to see that. And, as much as I hope I never have that happen in one of my games, I would have been cheering for that guy.
And there were a lot of people that didn't know how that situation would play out because they didn't understand or understand the rule and the interpretation of it. So, it's fortunate that, we knew what to do in that situation because I've never been faced with that, not even in a men's league game.
We covered it once before.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you've never actually had it happen on the ice, and now you gotta know what to do. I mean, this is a state tournament game, so there's a lot riding on it. I'm gonna say this: it's not in the rule book, but I'm just gonna give you a little bit of advice. By the time you get to the bantam level of hockey, you probably need a second goaltender. Guys can fire the biscuit. Stuff's gonna happen during a long season. You probably need a second goalie. I mean, I was a goalie growing up, and I was a solo goalie through Pee Wee. By the time we got to Bantam, you pretty much had to have a backup.
Well, Well, yeah, but they didn't have curved sticks when you played, so the puck didn't go above your knees.
Yeah,
so we get it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we had the Northland
had to know
Custom
that
Pro
was coming.
baby, and the Victoriaville, and the Sherwood, and the boys could pound the puck. The boys could pound the puck back then, and I only had one guy that had a straight stick. I had a center that played with a straight stick. He was the only guy I ever saw in my amateur
probably
hockey
won more
career
face-offs with it, or he thought he did.
Well, he liked having a really good backhand. He was a really good player, and he liked having that straight stick for the backhand. That's what he always said. He liked to have, as a center, he just thought he got a lot of opportunities for the backhand. Like, I don't know why you can't get a backhand with the curve stick, because I know I can.
Yeah, that's what, when the Blackhawks figured that out, that's what they figured out first, is that your backhand was more controllable. Yeah. And you could move it around better with that backhand. So I don't know. I think the straight stick, maybe he just didn't want to conform.
Well, he could shoot the puck. I could tell you that he could rip it. He had a good shot. He's a good player. But anyway, so once you get to like the Bantam level, you probably should have a backup goaltender.
Yeah.
The reality of things.
Definitely.
But, kudos to the other team. The coaches kept everything under control, didn't let the players go crazy, because there were a couple sellies after they kind of didn't get a slap shot in. But, they put a couple on the ice that went in, and saw a couple sellies that I didn't really want to see.
Poor guy.
So, good for the coaches for, like, getting it together and, keeping control.
Hey,
it is a state tournament game.
Speaking of celebrations, did you see the New Trier one where the guy rode his stick down and then he actually spun around?
Yeah, I did see that one.
But backwards at the same time. I was like, wow. I was like, that was awesome. Hey, another awesome thing, and I almost didn't think about it until we just talked about that.
Yeah, he was come on, ride the train for sure.
It was a lot of fun. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, and it was fun. So.
State tournament's exciting. Anytime you've got championships going on, it's exciting. There's a lot on the line, and everybody's giving their 110%. And, it's a good time. That's what we all love. Even as a referee, we love that. We like when the crowd is in the building.
Well,
I had that exciting state tournament game where they scored three goals in 30 seconds to win the state tournament. Okay, like they were down by 2 goals, and they scored 3. And the place went crazy. It's good stuff. Anyway.
Can't write it bookending that well.
Yeah. So here's one that was on Facebook. This was kind of interesting to me as well. I think it started out as one thing, and then it became something else. So what it is, there was you have a puck that's high sticked, stick above the shoulder, and now nobody wants to play the puck, okay? Well, it's very simple at that point. If the team doesn't want to play the puck, they're not obligated to play the puck because there's been a violation. So it's a whistle, and it goes down into the zone of the team that high-sticked the puck. But they took it a step further, and they basically had where nobody wants to play the puck, and it wasn't a refusal to start play. It was like, well, they'll come over, they'll line up, they just won't do anything when the puck goes down. And it's like, I
don't even know where people get this.
I don't either. But, in the rule book, you are obligated to move the puck and play the puck. There is an obligation there.
It's supposed to be kept in motion, but yeah.
Yeah, in motion. So, it's an obligation to keep the puck moving and play the puck. So I don't know where they would go with that, because if neither team wants to do it, what are you going to do? Okay. You don't want to play the puck, so what are we going to do? We're going to assess a delay a game penalty to each team for not wanting to not play the puck?
No.
Possibility you could do that. You could. But now you got...
See, hypothetically, I just don't see how this could happen. So I don't even know where this person came up with it.
I don't either. Or do you put the puck down and you look up at the clock for 15 minutes and you watch the clock tick down and nobody budges?
Somebody will eventually go get it. Trust me. There's one guy out there.
There's going to be one guy. There's that one guy that would fire the puck with 2 seconds left when he's got a 9-goal lead.
Hang on. Hey, the one guy that I could see doing it? the goalie that's on that half of the ice or the goalie on the other side, then you'd have it even more interesting. Because eventually somebody's going to get bored. So I just don't know where they got that hypothetical. And I do think when we were talking about it, it was probably related to a high stick, where it's down in the far end, right? And the attacking team high sticks it. It's basically on the goal line. Oh, if I'm the defending team, I don't want to play it. Like, I think that's where it came from. But yeah, they can stand there and look at each other, but just realistically, I think somebody's gonna go get it. So kudos to people having extreme imaginations, but reality is kind of a little more.
They're always
grounded.
looking for that situation that they can't find in the rule book. Like, oh, we need another rule put in here. We need another situation because this one doesn't
There's
exist.
enough rules.
Well,
Enough rules.
We got 40 of them. That's more than enough.
Well,
we have
correct.
We have 41 with a B, 41B. That covers the rules that aren't in the book. That's the one. 641B. Look it up, everybody. Look it up.
I'm sorry.
All you coaches, all you players, all you fans or parents, look up 641B. Just Google it on your internet, okay? Google 641B and see what shows up.
You know what I'm gonna do next when I get my next rule book? I'm gonna add my own page.
Yeah. Go to Kinko's, man. Have them cut and drop it in.
Yeah, when I get it binded, I'll get it spiraled, and then
in a special tab.
We'll title it
641B, so you can go right to it.
Baumruck's rule.
Yep. Baumruck rule.
It's
the Baumruck rule.
It makes for a good story. That's all I know.
Yeah. So do you have any good situations that you saw that you want to cover?
No, you know what? I had, honestly, this year, I had mostly very mundane games. I know that sounds crazy. I mean, not bad. They weren't bad. But I didn't have anything, crazy happen or, no weird situations, so I didn't really have anything this year. I felt great that one of our friends, one of your friends and my friends, I'm not going to say his name, we worked together quite a bit during the playoffs. And, I had all these great, nice, easy 3 official skates. The teams are playing side to side in the rink, not back and down. Poor guy, every time he had the ref, wow, it was like an endurance race. I felt bad for him every single game.
Not east,
north,
west?
south. No, it was so bad. I felt so bad for him. And, luckily we didn't have anything odd happen in those games either, because I don't know how he'd be able to handle it, because he was definitely guest. So, but yeah, I didn't really have anything that interesting, and I haven't seen anything, and I've watched a lot of hockey in the past 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I sat at rinks for 6 weekends from Friday till Sunday. And, I really didn't see anything that struck me as out of the box or odd or, I mean, it was nice and I like that. I think a lot of officials are, doing real good with the rules that are working those levels of hockey. And that's just great at the official we have here. And then we had the districts here. And we had guys from, all around the district and ladies come in and nothing out of the ordinary. And it was good. So I just think that's a big
no excitement. Come on. No excitement. Nothing weird happening.
No, I kid you not. I really didn't see anything. If I had something, I would share it. But you know what'll happen? We'll get off here and I'll call you 5 minutes later and be like, I thought of something.
Like, oh yeah.
So, but hey, I just want to point out yesterday was Feast of St. Joseph. So just so you know, because Pops Prescott was in the building.
Did he have red on?
He had his red on. Oh yeah, he did. He was decked out, and he worked the penalty
from
box
head to toe
for a couple games. Vest, pocket square, and socks.
Yeah, Joe.
So
Joe
always
likes
with that
to roll
big smile
sharp
on
at
his
all
face.
times. At all times, Joe is sharp, so he's on that, no doubt. All right. Well, we're not going to take up much more of everybody's time today. Thank you all for joining us.
Hey, everybody go enjoy outside or something. The rinks,
it's spring.
You've been
Today
inside
is the
for months.
first day of spring. But before you go, you can support the channel here. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom. We haven't had any caffeine from anybody in a while. We could use the end of the season caffeine from you guys. So, that's about it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You know what to do. Hit the notification bell. We will be back next Monday, 5:30 p.m. right here. And believe it or not,
I think if we don't have a guest, I think what we should do, Scott, is maybe do some videos and see if we can get some participation from some people.
Okay.
Pop in what you're thinking.
We do have a guest scheduled, and that is Matt from York High School is scheduled to be on. Now, I don't know if he's going to be mad at me, like I said, because I didn't pick him for the overall win. But I think he's a pretty good guy. I think he won't hold that against me, and he'll come on because I think he's got a lot he wants to share from, what a great season they had. So, with that being said, all right, you guys have a great week. We'll see you next Monday, 5:30, and enjoy this break in the season because guess what?
Beautiful.
By April 1st, we're back at it. Okay,
Hey, put your other sticks in the car and go to the driving range.
We got about a week or 10 days before it gets crazy again, and we get back to it for the spring season. So never goes away for that long. All right. Well, Brad, thanks for everything. Congratulations to you. You finished your first official season as our referee in chief, which is very cool. Anything you want to share with everybody about that, or any takeaways on it?
No.
Was it what you expected?
Takeaways.
Was it more than you expected?
Yep. I think I think it was pretty much what I expected. I think just the urgency on some things. There was at one point I had to sit down and take some advice from somebody that's been around for many, many more moons than me. And their famous saying is, "There's no such thing as a hockey emergency." And you know what? There at one point I had to just sit down one day and say, "I'm not doing this today. I gotta just get out of it." And I sat with my kids and I watched movies. So I think that's one thing, especially I know Joe covered it, St. Patrick's Day, and I'm gonna mimic it again. If you have the time, spend it with your family right now. They get to know them a little bit. They haven't seen you in probably 8 months. So, remember, they're the ones still here at the house while you're out refereeing. So that'd be my piece of advice.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good advice for everybody. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next Monday right here on the show starting at 5:30. It's the Ref Room from Chicago. I'm Scott Smokin Silz, along with the referee in chief from the Chicagoland area, Brad Baumruck. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you. Peace out.